Oh my god, she's a weirdo.
This is editing Fat Cow. The last part of this video, the sound quality is not particularly good because of that young lady. Also, the thing that's on my chair currently is various materials and crafting bits and pieces and a lot of stuffing for plushies. I've got a busy couple of weeks ahead of me. But anyway, enjoy cat shenanigans at the end of this video. Hello, 'tis I, Fat Cow. Foodie's last live, the I Had a Good Day live, she revealed something that I think is incredibly telling and says a lot about the arrangement that is her marriage. Now, as you know, 3 years has passed since this agreement between herself and Salah was made. The agreement is Foodie lives in a country that is significantly less expensive and doesn't have to pay for some things like rent, etc., while having the pretense of being in a relationship. And Salah provides these things for her, and then after 3 years she goes back to Canada and arrange for him to go to Canada himself. Now, 3 years is arguably a sufficient amount of time to prove to Canadian authorities that they are legitimately married, one would think, except that if the authorities look at their relationship, look at their couples channel, look at all the trips that they've gone on together abroad, one, and all the trips Foodie has made abroad, over 10, I believe, alone, that's not suspicious at all. And the dynamic and the chemistry between them and all the other reaction channels, commentary on how this relationship is obviously fake. Also, 3 years actually isn't going to prove diddly squat, but I digress. So we know the arrangement. Foodie wants to appear to be in a relationship. Salah wants to move to Canada. But Foodie, as revealed in this live, also had a secondary motive to this whole arrangement. She said it herself. She hadn't been living in a country that had less expenses, plus having less expenses because of having things paid for her such as rent, etc., she wouldn't have been able to pay off her debt. Now, her debt, by her own admission, should be paid this month, which is, very convenient that she happens to be returning to Canada the very next month once her bankruptcy debt is paid, because you can't even apply for your spouse to come to Canada if you have any bankruptcy hanging over your head. Additionally, she said had she stayed in Canada, she wouldn't have been able to pay off her debt at all, even if she'd continued earning the amount she had previously. It's only by moving to another country, not Western, another country, having another person help her with her outgoings, that she could focus her salary on paying the debt. So this arrangement has been very fortuitous for Foodie. The pretense of being in a relationship that has any affection between it whatsoever, and the ability to pay off her debts. And in return, Salah gets to come to Canada, except he won't. He'll never get to Canada, not with 2 already failed applications, his dubious history, the statements he has frequently made on the internet, plus dozens of people, if Twitter is to be believed, reporting their fraudulent marriage to the Canadian government. But Foodie has managed to pay off her debt, and as soon as that debt has been paid with the help of Salah, she's fucking off back to Canada. Now, if that doesn't scream soulmate and true love, I don't know what doesn't. Now, this begs the question, does Salah know? I mean, he knows, obviously knows, but what if Foodie is using Salah, one, to get up Nada's nose, to say, look, I'm desirable, here's a man who's married me, because we all think that anyway. Hello, Pebbles. And 2, for him to help her pay off her debt, knowing that he would never, ever get to Canada. And now that she's managed to pay off her debt, it's basically fuck off, Salah. Has she conned the con man? Was this her plan all along? Because basically, now that her debt's paid, she's literally said, bye, see you later. Was this her plan all along? Was this the intention? Does she know that Salah's never going to make it to Canada? She probably does know he'll never make it to Canada. But she's dangling that carrot, and she's dangled that carrot until her debt is paid. Her life is fixed, in her opinion, and now she's going to go back to Canada to ruin it all over again. She also legitimately thinks that when she goes back to Canada, her channel's going to recover. She legitimately thinks the reason she only has 300 people watching her live is because her internet is slow and nobody can see her face. Really, the arrogance. The arrogance. I don't need to explain why you've only got 300 people watching your live. But it's not for the 2 reasons that you've stated. And when you're back in Canada and your internet is better and everybody can see your face, you'll have a few more people watching your lives for a bit until everybody realises you're still as boring as fucking ever.